Good morning, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, my morning contemplative time has been all about interconnectedness. And I believe that everything is. And you know that I work with energy work. But even if we were to look at just a human perspective of us all being interconnected, and some of us do have a strong awareness of this, and others less so, perhaps. But I could tell you that this morning was very much of a focused awareness of this. So you might know that this morning we had a blood moon, and I learned about this from a neighbor yesterday, and I made sure that I got up at 4 in the morning to see it, and it was just as fabulous, and maybe even more so than what I thought I would see. So a lot of mental processing was happening in that time of understanding the experience of this interconnectedness of this eclipse that is happening or was happening, and how I got the pleasure of just experiencing that in nature. So, one of the things that I noticed that for myself is there is a creativity that's coming through me these days, both in my practice and certainly in my life experience and awareness and appreciation. I can say I am writing poetry, as some of you know, and this poetry often is able to help me express, or I am able to express, the things that I do not find so easy to express in just normal communication. So I find that writing through poetry really allows me to put my creative flair into my life experience through these words. And so today, of course, the first quotation I would come across would have something to do with it. It says, "Creativity is the power to connect the seemingly unconnected." And I thought, wow, that says it. Creativity is the power to connect the seemingly unconnected. And this is my experience that through poetry, I am able to connect the things in life experiences, whether I look at clients or patients, or whether I look at my own personal life, or whether I look at nature, because I find that there's so much to learn from nature that I find reflects my own life. And again, poetry allows me to put that into some expression. And you might have your own expressions too. Some people do art, some people sing, some people listen to music, some people create music. So, all sorts of different ways of creative outlets to express things that can't be easily expressed in other ways. But nature, again, is such a beautiful teacher that way. So, the next quotation that I found today was exactly this: "In nature, we never see anything isolated, but everything in connection with something else, which is before it, beside it, under it, and over it." And I love this because isn't that a great expression of what just happened with the eclipse this morning? Was again before it, behind it, under it, over it, all of that, of recognizing the different positions of what is being seen with our eyes, right? And this is in the sky. Here we're watching the moon and seeing this eclipse, if you were, and certainly you might see some pictures, but if you even see the transformation that's happening in that time as something is changed right before our eyes, right? And this is such a large scale of something that we can see. And of course, we can see things like that in our body, right? Where we can see that I had this function really well before. My eyes, let's say, were really strong before, and now I notice I need a little bit of corrective vision. So that stands out that my eyes are changing. And that's still on this gross level. On a deeper level, we might say my mind is changing. And it's connected, right? This interconnectedness of things that have happened in my life have shaped this mind. Things that are happening right now are shaping this mind. How I am thinking and how I am directing my thought is shaping my mind and my experience today. So I love thinking about these things, as you know. And I got this other quote, which is by Thich Thien An. And this quotation says, "Since everything is interrelated, since all things depend upon one another, nothing is absolute, nothing is separate, but all are part of one indivisible whole." Now, you know how much I love this idea and experience of oneness. And this is what I believe our experience is. Certainly, the work that I'm doing and my regular meditation really allows me to see into the space of oneness. And I would love this experience for everyone, of course. But of course, the next quotation that I came across is by Ram Dass, and I love his thinking and style. I loved what he had put together, and he wrote this. He said, "Science and religion both teach that we are all interconnected and thus interdependent. And at the very core, we all are one. But how do we live as if we know this?" I love this. So, again, science and religion both teach that we are all interconnected and thus interdependent. And at the very core, we are all one. But how do we live as if we know this? So, a lot of times people might think of, when I die, I'll be one with everything in heaven, or when I die, I will suddenly understand the meaning of my whole life experience. And we can live in this way today itself. And this is, of course, what I teach through the course that I've just created. So, of course, these things are in my mind. My life that I'm experiencing is certainly feeling this experience. And I hope that you might be able to feel this experience for yourself in this moment by just taking a minute and thinking about the things that you are connected with, that you are interconnected with, that when this person says this to me, this is how this makes me feel. This is how this shapes my thoughts. This is what shapes how I speak. This is an interconnectedness that I'm understanding. And you might learn it from nature too. You might learn it from the people that are closest to you. You might learn it from people who were in your life in the past that are no longer with you in this moment. All sorts of different ways of learning, but you've got some interconnectedness with lots of people and things around. I'd love for you to take 5 minutes after this video to just think about even just one thing that you are learning from and learning about yourself from through that interconnectedness. I wish you a fabulous day ahead. I hope you do that exercise, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.